Are you ready for some good news? The spiritual battles of life serve well to make you thirsty for God's grace. Here's today's text from 2 Corinthians chapter 12. So to keep me from becoming conceited because of the surpassing greatness of the revelations, a thorn was given me in the flesh, a messenger of Satan, to harass me, to keep me from becoming conceited. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this, that it should leave me. But He said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. There's a great deal of confusion about Paul's thorn. A variety of interpretations have been suggested. Was it a physical sickness or disability? Could it have been a besetting sin or a struggle with lust? Was it a mental illness? Was Paul perhaps chronically depressed? No. The famous thorn in the flesh isn't nearly so puzzling as commentators have made it. Paul actually spells it out here. The thorn was a messenger of Satan. It was literally an angel, an angelos of Satan. The thorn was a demon. Everywhere Paul went, he encountered demonic resistance. The forces of hell hated Paul and wanted his preaching mission stopped. So every day of his life, Paul faced a level of spiritual warfare unimaginable to most of us. It was hard, and it made Paul draw upon the grace of God every day. He was like the deer panting at the water brook, desperate for the living water. There was simply no way Paul could face the demonic persecution without the deep well of God's grace. And God wanted it that way. Let's be clear. God doesn't endorse depression or inject cancers or delight in His children's suffering. He's a wonderful Father. He loves you and cares for every aspect of your life. He wants it to go well for you in every way. But as long as you're in this world, you're going to face troubles. You're going to be in a spiritual battle every day. Thankfully, the battles you face will not likely be so intense as Paul's, but they serve the same purpose, to draw you near to God's grace. There are depths of God's love and power that you cannot know, will not know, unless you desperately need Him. Occasionally on these hot, humid August days, my mind flashes back to the late summer soccer practices at Page High School. We had one water hose at the edge of those fields. Then after running, competing, and training in 95-degree heat, the water break reduced a bunch of high school boys to desperate animals clawing at the chance for a drink of the hose. In my air-conditioned house, watching a TV show, a bland glass of water seems a bit boring. But in the searing heat of the Page High soccer field, the water from a garden hose was the most delicious thing imaginable. If God spared you from the spiritual battle, gave you a free pass from the troubles of the world, the intensity of your thirst for God would likely grow dim. God wanted Paul ever thirsting for Him because He had appointed Paul to change the world by the proclamation of the gospel. The thorns of spiritual attack are never fun, but they compel you toward the living water where you discover that God's grace is the most delicious thing in all of life. And that's the gospel. Well, that's today's daily devotional, and if you missed this message about Paul's thorn, then go get it. It's free at sharingthelight.org.